I'm starting to get you.
And we're live. I got nothing. I have no notes. I have no intro. Welcome to the Boogie brackets, Adam brackets, Gomer brackets, Yule show. I don't know what this is, but we're going to hang out. We're going to talk comics. The comic industry is dying, but as always, the show is brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. We're live on YouTube via the S&B Network. Make sure you go ahead and smash the like button. Share out the link. We got a special guest. We're going to talk about the death of the comic book industry, but we're going to throw some money at comic books too. It's going to be a good time. The writer, creator of Freakshow Princess, Jonathan Hedrick. Welcome to the Boogie / Adam / Gomer / Yule show.
Yeah.
That's too long of a title.
Welcome.
We got to fix that. That's the first thing we need to do. Fix the title.
It's a special edition. I wanted to get you on the show before your campaign ended. That was the big thing.
Thank you.
And so we just went live on a Tuesday. Boogie Bentley rocking on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here.
So what's going on, man? How's the campaign going? It's what do you got? 12 days left?
Yeah, actually, I filed for Kickstarter. Is letting everyone right now with the live campaign extend their deadline by 7 days. So I went ahead and asked for that, and they came back a couple hours later and said I was approved for it. So I think that's good for a lot of people out there that might be needing to hold on to some extra cash, while trying to make ends meet, and use that for something a little bit more necessary before comics. And then maybe a paycheck will come that extra 7 days, and then they can spend more money on comics.
Yeah,
ideally.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the campaign's going good. It got funded on the first day. I had a small goal of $500, and now it's at $995, so almost doubled. But it kind
How many have you done? How many Kickstarters have you done?
This is actually my second. The first one was for Freakshow Princess in October, and it didn't get funded. So so I cut the goal in half this time and changed my rewards. I did a lot of research, talked to a lot of people that do this all the time, networked. So it's done a lot better this time. Added exclusive cover, better rewards, just more polish this time. Yeah, I had to do my research. So it paid
that's
off.
what it's about too with Kickstarter. It's a learning process,
Absolutely.
to see what's going to happen there. At least
sure.
I haven't done one, but we talk to a lot of people who do them. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Antonio, my brother from another mother, his Indiegogo campaign failed twice. And the third time around, he raised $70,000.
Yeah.
Is that where he ended up?
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a learning process. It's getting your name out there. It's networking. It's doing stuff like this. This show is small, but the more shows you get on, the more people see you. The more people see your personality. That's how you build that network. And that's why, like I said, we're going to talk comics. We're going to hang out for an hour, talk about what's going on in the comic book industry. And we'll get a little more detailed with your campaign here in a little bit, but you did have a Liana Kangas variant Kickstarter, which she's been on the show. Great guest. Oh man, she's so much fun. How did you hook up with her? How did you get her on board for this?
So she used to live in the same town I live in now, in Melbourne, Florida. She grew up over here, and she came down, I think, to visit some family a couple months ago, and did a quick local in-store signing at one of the bigger stores here called Famous Faces and Funnies, that are really cool comic book store here. They're really successful, and they're very supportive of all the indie guys around here in this community. So I went up there because anytime there's a signing of a kind of a not a bigger name, I'm not going to walk up to Jim Lee and ask him to read my book.
Can't hurt.
Shoot your shot.
Right.
Yes, right on. Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
These days, he might take it for good publicity.
That's for sure. Yeah. So my next Kickstarter is going to have a Jim Lee exclusive variant cover.
There you go. You could do that Marsha Brady kind of thing.
We can break that news. I'm going to break that news right now.
It's a stretch goal. It's a stretch goal, though.
Right.
But
if we hit 3 million.
Yeah. There you go. All physical backers. But yeah, I talked to Leanna there, and she was super cool. I had a good conversation with her, and I loved her book. She said "Destroy."
Yeah.
So I saw her post something on Twitter that said that she wanted, she was looking for some commission work, and I wanted an exclusive cover. So it worked out that way.
Nice.
Good deal. Like I said, we're going to get into it. We're going to go through your campaign, show all the reward tiers. But if you guys are interested, we got some people flowing in. It is a random Tuesday night. We're always live on Sundays.
Well, you know, you're home.
People coming in.
You're home.
Smash the like button, share out the link. If you're interested in Freakshow Princess, the links are in the description. So let's talk a little shop. Gaumer, do you want to lead us in on this?
What, inside baseball? That everything I do in the world is to come to a complete halt?
If you actually did your job, I was going to share the Outright Geekery article.
I was depressed. I don't like giving people bad news.
But you notice that there is no article now. If it's not on Outright Geekery, we're not sharing it.
Well, that's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Comics are at a standstill due to the worldwide pandemic. Diamond is... And the news kind of creeped out. Bleeding Cool broke a story that said they're not taking new shipments. And then comicbook.com sort of confirmed that, but then had a twist that they're not shipping anything new out either. But that's inside baseball. Yul would know more about that aspect of it. Either way, Diamond, after this Wednesday, it's Tuesday, that's tomorrow, will have no new product in the store. They're not shipping anything out. Now, my question to Yul in that context would be, how many Wednesdays worth of comics would Diamond have anyway?
Wait, let's before Yul answers that. Yul's been on the show a lot. Most of you know who he is, but he is the owner operator of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. That's why I wanted Yul on here to talk about this, so we have a different point of view on
Well, it's a retailer point of view, and that's important because that's who this impacts the most.
Right.
Publishing is going to live through this. Distribution is going to be fine. It's going to hurt, but it's going to be fine. But if they don't have shops to ship to, there might be a problem with both, and that's who we should worry about. So, yeah, I'm glad Yul's on too because he's got an inherent perspective that no one else has. So don't blow it, Yul.
All right, I won't blow it.
He's a bit of an asshole, though.
Yeah, I can be sometimes. It's all right. So it's a little different on the East Coast, or maybe depending where you are on the West Coast. The shipment I was going to get today was sitting at UPS last week. So they kind of have maybe at the beginning of the week, they're bringing last week's books. And then at the end of that week, they have next week's books. And it's like a cycle going that all the time.
Sure.
And at Diamond, I would assume if an FOC is the final order cut off on a Monday, and it's usually a month after the last issue. So
now FOC is the final order cutoff date. That's the last time shops can order a book from Diamond and get it on release day.
Yeah, usually around 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock, something like that, depending on your store open on a Monday. And it's always a Monday. And there was a comic shop owner out in San Francisco up here that fought for that. He basically he bitched enough so much. His name's Brian Hibbs. He bitched enough so much and had a class action lawsuit that not only did some stores actually make money off of it, just a little bit, but Diamond and all the distributors and all the publishers had to change their practices just a little bit. And that was to give us a chance to make an adjustment, usually within a month of... Now, Marvel, what they'll do is they'll have, within 1 month, they'll have 2 books. So you're finalizing an order for number 3 before number 1 has actually sold.
Yes, I've talked about this before. This is publishers manipulating the direct market because shops don't know how to order. they're going to order for people who have requested it, but they also have to have product on the shelf for walk-ins and for people who may have not put it on their list.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so difficult for stores to gauge exactly how much they need to order. Publishers know this, and they take advantage of the stores by shipping those books within that window. Because if they have a big enough window, Yule would sell 20 copies of issue number 1. He's not going to order 25 issues of copies of issue number 2. He's probably going to order 20 or 15 even, because he knows that the drop off from issue 1 to issue 2 is like 60%. So sorry, Yule.
No, you got it. That is exactly the reality of it.
Jonathan just sitting back looking pretty while they talk about it.
That's my buddy David.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he writes a book for Mad Cave called Savage Bastards.
Oh, nice.
So
whoa, David's ready to come on.
Let's talk about Mad Cave since it came up. They started an Indiegogo to help the entire industry, especially the direct market. I don't have the details on that, but they donated like a whole lot of money to it, and it's gone. Really cool. It's gone up. Let me go look that up. Go ahead,
shout out to David, because we've got the writer of Canto coming up this week. Dude, I totally botched the interview schedule because 2 dudes named David, one was emailing me and one was DMing me on Twitter, and I thought both Davids were the same David, and we had to reschedule. But thanks for being cool, man. We'll talk to you
coming up. To compete. You guys need to.
Boogie, you should get a guy for that.
I need a guy. I don't have a guy.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I derailed that.
We were talking about kickstarting stuff while stores aren't in operation.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
Now our creators, like for the big 2, are they like even someone like Dan Slaughter, somebody? Are they considered? Are they still considered freelancers or independent contractors? Like if Marvel's like, we're not shipping books, don't write anything or whatever, can they go, well, I'm going to go do something over here on Kickstarter and try to get this? I don't think
we know the details of that.
So it just depends on like what contract people sign. There are people that are exclusive and they'll get a large sum of money up front, but they might not get a lot going forward. So man, it can be, if you've got a fan base and you do good illustrations and people are willing to pay money, you can make some money, but it might be a tough thing for a while.
We're going to get back into it. Creators sitting on some books.
We've got some people flooding into the live chat because they want that free digital code of Marvel Snapshot Fantastic Four #1, and we're going to give it away. But while you guys are here, we're gonna do a little business. So let me share my screen real quick.
And since you're doing that, Jonathan brought up that relief fund, and that's what it's called, the relief fund for U.S. comic book retailers. Mad Cave put that up on GoFundMe. It's up to $11,000. Cool. So yeah, go up there and that's definitely one way you can help, since that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I want to get more into that. I want to talk to Yule about what we can do to help our local comic shops. What as a customer, what we can do. But I want to talk about Jonathan's Kickstarter, Freakshow Princess. The link is in the description. My goal in life, like I set short-term goals. My goal in life right now is getting this to $1,000 before we go off air. Come on, there's
that'd be cool.
13 people hanging out in the chat right now. They're coming in. Somebody's got to back this. But let's talk
of a telethon.
That's love it. That's what this is. Maybe I'll just change the name to that.
Oh, I like that.
Let's watch the trailer here, because this
video is crazy.
I love this video. So let's watch.
We've talked about videos before and how great they are. They should be.
No, this is what your crowdfunding campaign should be. Don't give me a video. What was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, I said, don't give me a video of you going, this is my comic book. That doesn't work. You gotta, this video. I'll just shut up. Let's watch it. Yeah. Sign me up for that.
I love that.
So
It's production value, man.
I got to give props to the person who made that video for me. Another local comic book store owner in Melbourne, Matt Muller, I'm sorry. He runs a comic book store here called 9.9 Comics, and he's been a huge advocate and supporter of my work. That's where I get my subs from, and he made that video back when it was released, in print back in October. So it worked perfectly for the Kickstarter too. So
yeah, I love it. And that's another thing. The book's done. And look at that. Did you see that? Just like that, we're over $1,000.
Wow.
Right
We
there.
did it. We did it.
Very
That's
cool.
the boogie
Well, you
bump.
can't
That's the
stop
boogie
there.
bump.
My life is complete.
That's the boogie bump.
Awesome. Congratulations. Glad to see you go over 1,000
Yes.
live on air. There's no such thing as a boogie bump. It's just it's some dude that's like
Does
has
Mrs.
no
Boogie know
clue
this?
we're not even live. No clue we're live and just back in the book. And I'll take credit for it though. So
Sure.
Let's talk about the campaign again. What I was saying before that magic happened. So the book's done. It's complete. Is everything printed?
Everything but the Leanna Kangas cover, because I want to only have the amount that was actually pledged for to keep that absolutely exclusive.
Nice.
Cool.
Yes.
So let's go through some of the rewards here. You can give a tip. You can give $1. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I do on ComicCast every week. If you like the show, leave a tip.
Please, yeah.
Just the tip.
Just
Always.
a tip. Just for a moment,
subscribe.
just to see if it's fun. $3 gets you a digital copy of the book. I'm never mad at a digital copy. That's a conversation I've had with Antonio when he's doing his crowdfunder.
I think we'll talk about digital comics again.
Yeah.
In the tone of helping comic shops.
But there's nothing wrong with offering digital when you're crowdfunding. It's free money. It's free money. And the thing is, people talk about piracy and this, that, and the other on crowdfunding. You've already got your money. Who cares if they pirate? At that point. $5 digital creator bundle. Now, what's this?
So that's a digital copy of Freakshow Princess, and then my other title, Capable. So you'll see the cover for that a little bit lower when we get further on to the story of the campaign. But yeah, I have another title out that came out in December, and that's my superhero book.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about that. I saw that. $6. $6 gets you the book with the main cover. Ben Worrell, how do you say that?
Worrell, yep. He's an artist out of Colorado. He writes an indie book called Sheath, or writes and draws it. Real cool guy. Very professional.
And this is the main cover here that we're looking at as well.
Yeah, that's right. He did that cover. That's an interior artist as well.
So now, and then for $10, 2 comics plus shipping. And that's where you get what you talk, the other book you wrote, Capable and Freakshow Princess, both.
Physical copies, yep, of both of them.
15, you get the variant cover. Is that on here? Do we have a picture of that?
Yeah. When we get the variant cover is a little bit almost there. It's the black and white looking one. There it is. That's done by a local artist here in Melbourne, Dominic Prosy. He's my buddy. He's done variant covers and store exclusives of all my books. And he's been a big help because he's got a big fan base here. So he does a variant cover, and we do a signing together, and he brings all his people that want, his commissions, and then they pick up my book and then some, and it's a good team effort.
Nice. That's awesome.
So let's go back up here, see what we got. What we got.
So is this meant to be a Freakshow Princess? Is it meant to be a one shot or?
This is a one shot, but I do have an outline for an expanded universe of it where they're all one shots within the same world.
Nice.
And I want to put one out once a year around Halloween time, like a seasonal annual book. So I have the next one outlined, and hopefully art can start on that in May.
Sorry. With the way you're doing your Kickstarters at like a lower, and it's a lot easier way to get in there too, especially if you're going to crowdfund the next every one shot. If you're going to crowdfund them, that's a lot easier way to do it than trying to crowdfund the whole series.
Exactly. To try to rely on the Kickstarter or indie crowdfunding campaign to finance your entire book is almost pie in the sky. It's better just to make some money back afterwards, and then get the networking and the fan base growing. Then just say, all right, I spent $4,000 making this book. I want $4,000 back. That's much harder to do.
Yeah.
So I'm actually trying to think of how to word this.
I gave you enough time by interrupting.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have waited to talk.
I
mean, you interrupted. You interrupted me running down the rewards to talk, and you don't know what you want to say. But go ahead.
Well, now,
poor Adam.
Sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
So
that's not going to help him too. But
I'm going to let you finish, but I just want to say one thing. Go ahead, Adam.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, great. Think about it. There's some other rewards here. A blank sketch variant cover. Now, didn't you do a day one Leanna Kangas cover? But this one is different. Do we have a picture of this one yet?
The day one covers this. The day one rewards the same cover. It just was at a lower price.
Okay.
So the first day you could have got the Leanna cover for $25.
Okay.
So we have about 6 people jump on that. So.
Yeah. But you can still get it. $40. She's an amazing artist. She's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And you've got some other stuff here to get all the covers. You got some bundles. You've got original artwork, which I always love. You've got the original cover for sale as well. Is that right?
The variant cover that Dominic did.
Okay.
The local artist. Yep.
Guys, go check this out. Again, the link is in the description. Go back this. Go support it. Give them the elevator pitch. What is this book about?
So this is your classic zombie horror book, very Night of the Living Dead-esque. It's not the fast zombie style. This is you're stuck inside the house, boarded up with the zombies growing on the outside of your house. And the main character, Jessica, she's reminiscing on the things that happened in her life that got her into this situation. So it's really a story about sacrifice that's set in a zombie genre book.
Nice. And just like that, you're up to $1,021, 36 backers,
cool.
13 days to go. Guys, I can't say this enough. Go check out this project. Go back. The links are in the description. We're going to come back and touch on it a little bit more. We're going to give away a free digital code. Somebody in the live chat, if you want Marvel Snapshot Fantastic Four #1, put a 1 in the live chat. We'll pick a winner and we'll DM you the code because I'm not sure if they're active yet.
They may not be active yet because of the way comics are right now.
Glad to see the best moderator in the game, Comic Book Bob, hanging out, even though he's sick.
He's sick. He's on his sick bed, and he's still I gotta help Boogie.
Mason Radcliffe dropping that one. He's a free Comic Friday fan. He loves.
We should call them fiends. I think we should call them fiends.
I hope you guys stick around and don't leave. We got a lot to talk about.
Let's get back. Say that. You know they're gonna leave.
They're gonna leave. Mason's
we love you anyway. Thanks for the view. Thanks for the
code.
Hit like.
Get out of here.
Hit like before you go.
Please at least hit the like
button, please.
Yes.
Nobody. Comic.
Ever since we went live, nobody comments on our videos.
Yeah.
Like they never come back and comment, and I'm like,
it's tough.
It's the live chat, man. It's the live
algorithm.
Chat.
But like when you get that comic book, tell us what you think in the comments down below. You know?
Oh, there you go. You have to give them a
I mean, we just need a 2-sentence breakdown of what you thought of it.
Give us a 3 or 4 paragraph review and let us know.
So we can put it on Outright Geekery. Right? Maybe we'll just lift it.
As found on YouTube.
Venomized Ron just putting himself over and putting his emoji in the chat.
He's going to bed.
At least he's here. Yeah. Although I still think he's Chad Johnson. What happened to that guy? All right, let's get back into it. Adam, pick a number 1 to 2 because so many people want this book.
Flip a coin. Look at Ryan.
1 3/4. What did you say? 1 to 2?
Yeah, we've got 2 people that want that code.
He's not paying attention.
Oh my god!
Damn, I should have put my number in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a 4.
Dude, Jorge's down there. Give me 1 to 3. I know Jorge wants the book too, even though he didn't put a 1. He probably wasn't listening.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm a fan of number 2. So
Yeah, you
so
are.
Sean O'Keefe.
My favorite's number 3, though.
Sean O'Keefe, you're getting the Fantastic Four book. Shoot me a DM to the ComicCast Twitter, and I'll make sure you get that code. That way we can make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Adam, come on.
Number 2.
Venomized Ron says, love y'all. I'm going to bed. Out. Ron, come back and listen to this tomorrow. Come back.
Baby, come
leave
back.
a comment. And go back. Go back, Freakshow Princess. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have. You're gonna have all this extra money to spend anyway. But thank you for the super chat. You're our number one fan. We appreciate it. Let's get back into what's going on in the comic book industry. Yule, my question is, and I'm gonna ask Dwayne this week when I go down to pick up my comics tomorrow. What can your customers do to help you? Like, I know it's a little different for you because you're shut down right now, whereas Dwayne is at least still open at this point.
Yeah.
But what's your advice to customers that I told my buddy, Dwayne he's not just a local business. He's a friend, man. You go down there, it's people you see every week, every Wednesday at 2:30. I go down there and I think a lot
of people are like that with their local comic shops, man. Yeah.
So I think you have that connection. What can we do?
Well, so like anybody that knows me and my store, I would say normally, and it's the same thing with your store. If you have a connection with your store, if it's the one place you always go, no matter what, try to make sure that you wait it out. Ask for this stuff so that they know that what they have is available and pulled for the people that want it. And go pick it up, and don't go somewhere else to pick it up just because it's, it's, you went to some like speakeasy, some comic book speakeasy and got contraband comic books, just hold tight. If you have money, just maybe buy a gift card. That's what a lot of people do. For me personally, if you are out there and aren't a customer of mine, but you're like, oh damn, I want to help a store out, follow my Fantastic Comics YouTube channel.
Boom.
If you have a ton of money, you're like, oh, I'll give some money to someone. I have a Patreon page. It's Fantastic Comics. And, just follow me on Instagram mostly. I put cool comic book pictures up. And
so what do you give your
like
people on Patreon? What do you do there?
I don't give a thing.
I just take your money and do nothing. Just like I'm going to take Venomized Ron's money for saying, okay, I'm really going to bed. Peace, y'all. Later, Ron. See you Sunday.
Well,
a lot of us in the writer of Cantu.
Yeah, a lot of shops are giving discounts to box holders to regulars. Just say no, dude. I don't need my discount right now.
See, if
you can even get your comics right now, just say no, dude. This Wednesday, you keep my discount. Even little things like that are gonna help out. I have a question for everybody. Does it really matter if we buy gift cards if we're gonna miss out on 3 to 6 weeks, maybe more, of comics? Because if Marvel and DC still put out digital books, are they even going to eventually release the paper books? And is it even going to matter? Are people going to flock back and buy those paper books? Sure, the fan base may come out and say, yeah, man, I'm going to support my shop. But there's going to be a segment of the fan base who's like, dude, I'm broke. I'm done.
Well, first of all, for me, with a gift card, does it really help? Because, okay, I give you, say I buy a $100 gift card. So I'm giving you money now. Yeah. And then once comics start coming back in and I use that gift card, well, then you're not getting money.
But at that point. But aren't you going to buy the books that you've missed for 6 to 8 weeks? That's what that gift card will cover. And then you'll pick up right where you left off.
But is that what their plan is, to just ship 8? Because to me, I thought we're going to pause.
I don't know. Pausing comics to me is I'm playing a song, I pause it, and then it picks up right where the lyrics left off. That's a pause to me. If they're stopping comics, no, they're going to stop. And then, no, we're going to have to pick up 8 weeks from now. Sorry, you missed out on 8 weeks of paper comics.
If they go straight digital and go that route,
they're killing the direct market. Yeah. They are killing the direct market if they do that, man. Go ahead, Yule.
The conversation you guys are having, I have every freaking week.
Sure.
And I'm listening to you guys, and I'm thinking, I've had 2 weeks off of not thinking about this, and you guys are like bringing me right back to it. It's like I'm not I've been away from my parents for 5 years. I haven't seen them, and it's 5 minutes, and I'm already ready to go.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm ready to not worry about this.
Do you think they're ready to, like, they see it's like the villain of those just by the books movies where it's like, we're tired of the little guy, like White Goodman wanting to buy out Globo or buy out.
You think they're purposely looking? You think they're purposely looking for a reason to take out the direct market?
Well, no, I think they want the direct market to be more big box retailers that is like guaranteed money.
That's not what we've heard from the publishers, though, with all of their press releases. Now, that might just be lip service, but I'm sorry. I think the entire fan base.
I'm just talking out my rear end.
Sure. So I think the entire fan base needs to stand up, get on social media, contact Marvel and DC, and tell them, do not put digital comics out until they're back in the direct market.
Marvel and DC aren't saying anything.
Comixology. We need to not buy new comics digitally, dude. If the direct market is going to be saved,
I will not do it.
I'm not trying to doom and gloom it. This is unprecedented, and I've talked to people on social media shops that are like, no, I'm done. I can't go on anymore. My rent, I won't be able to pay my rent. Now, we haven't gotten the government bailout. We don't know if there's going to be some small business stuff there, but even then, it might be too late. The paperwork and the red tape that always comes along with that stuff. Some of these shops are on a razor's edge. The business is already on a downturn. In terms of shops closing, I think, man, if we don't do something as a fan base, it could be the end of the direct market as we know it. And
how does this all go down, though? And Marvel and DC don't say a word.
Exactly.
There's no communication. That's why Peter Simeti is losing his mind on social media.
I have never agreed with Peter Simeti more than I agree now.
He's so mad.
I would be mad too. Because if Marvel and DC go the digital route, the rest of the market has no other choice but to follow. If they lose Diamond, Diamond cannot stay in business just shipping smaller press, Image, and everyone else included. They can't do it.
Marvel has Disney. What does DC have?
Warner Brothers. AT&T, yeah, but Warner Brothers.
I mean, do you think that's a strong foundation like Disney?
They're losing money too. They're losing millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars too.
I think Disney is. I think they've got more solid backing to rely on than DC does.
Their stocks are like plummeting, though.
Both of them,
if that matters.
Just to let you know,
if you got some money, buy some Disney.
I think the only reason it matters that the parent companies of the publishers, their stocks are dropping, their market shares are going down, is because once they start to rebuild, their focus is not going to be on the comics. And if they see on a ledger somewhere, some exec sees, oh, well, our numbers went up digitally while our paper comics were non-existent, they may just say, screw it, we're going to lose digital or lose direct market and just go all digital. And I could honestly see that happening because of this, depending on how long the worldwide pandemic lockdowns, continue.
I gotta pull Jonathan into the conversation. Like, what are your thoughts on everything going on? Because I knew
you're throwing a lot out there.
You're in here with 4 ridiculously strong personalities that will not shut up. You got to fight your way in. Like, what are your thoughts, especially as an indie creator? Like, I'm sure your goal, right for Marvel, right for DC, like that's where you want to. It's like a wrestler. You want to be in the WWE. That's your end game, no matter what you say or pretend. So what does it scare you?
Yeah, when I read the news about Diamond, I think that's when it really became where I could feel it affect me maybe down the road. Like, oh, this could be real big for anyone that's coming up, because I can't see even smaller publishers starting to look for new talent if they can't put out books in nationwide or worldwide. I mean, the digital market, there's a place for it, but I've always said I'm not going to pay $3.99 for a brand new book.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't. I wish I could. I had that type of money to throw around, but $3.99 for not a physical copy that I can't go to a con and sign or trade or hand it off to my buddy and have him read it, or it doesn't have the tangible aspect of the comic books. Plays a huge role in the entire industry, and we're going to disenfranchise a lot of people if that goes away. So I am hoping, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about this and the possibility, but my idea, and this is coming from a guy that has a Kickstarter live right now, is how plausible is it that some of these LCSs can go onto Kickstarter, other crowdfunding campaigns, and purchase those like retailer bundles, and maybe use that as new inventory into their store and kind of supplement some portion of what they're not getting in from Diamond. I know it's not Spider-Man, it's not Batman, but is something fresh, and it's not Donny Cates, but it could be a new creator on the other side of the country that they never heard of, and it could be the greatest thing ever, or bad.
Dude, you have a very good. So you have 13 days before this is over, and it's already finished.
Yeah.
All right. So check this out. You're going to be shipping out comic books before any store is going to get Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or X-Men and Hotel and anything that's even close to what you've got going on right now. That is I'm not going to be open.
but you make a good point. With Diamond being shut down, there is an opportunity for creators, very independent creators, to network, talk to comic book shops and say, dude, I can send you product right now.
Yeah.
Because my shipping avenues are still open. My distribution avenues are still open. That's
as long as the printers. As long as the printers too don't start, shutting down.
That's going to be. So
some of them are, but they are. And I read there's conflicting reports. There's one out of Canada that says they closed down because of the virus, but there's a one that DC uses that's not in Canada, but they closed down because Diamond closed down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's nuts, dude.
Anytime you have to switch things going to another place, you're talking about adding more time before you're going to get that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So go buy a back issue from a comic store, and
let's get back to that. What else can we do to help shops?
I think you should go back Jonathan's retail incentive that I just saw.
Well, that's the problem. I can buy it, but it's only coming from my house.
He's not open. For $55, you can get 20 copies of the main cover, 2 copies of the variant cover, and a blank sketch cover, and a digital cover.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why I can't later.
But what I like about that, though, Jonathan, I like that tier because some of these crowdfunding campaigns, and you just talked about this when you were on with Peter Samedi. Some of these crowdfunding campaigns are wanting to charge retailers, they call it a retailer incentive, and they charge them full price.
Yeah.
So now even, and
just say it. Even
Comicsgate, Ethan Van Sciver, he wants to charge you $25 for each book in the retail incentive package. Well, that means Yule has to turn around and sell it for what? $30, $40, $50 to make a profit?
Probably,
that doesn't work.
Usually markup works that way.
That's not a retailer incentive. That's a way to sell more books. Whereas this, that's a way to make money for the retailer, for yourself. That's how you should do it.
But in that 25 book stack, are you getting like a special cover? You're getting like a 1 in 25 cover in the stack, right? For that Van Sciver thing you just mentioned?
I'm not sure what his.
I don't even know. It's
because that's just copying what the big publishers are
doing. I'm not hating on Ethan. I hate the people that hate on Ethan for saying, "Well, you charge too much for your comics." Dude made $1 million on his first one. He's already at what, 400,000 on this one. Yeah. People are buying it. You can charge whatever you want, but when you're trying to do a retailer incentive, that's where I'm like, you got to cut him a break.
Yeah. Well, you're more of the mindset to get the book out there and to get it in the hands of the readers. I think he's more in a business aspect, and that's fine. That's fine. Jill B. Pill, if I could just mention in the chat, not just an industry, a culture.
Jill.
My babe.
A culture. That is what we're talking about. All right. And this is just my personal story here. Okay. When I was coming up, my mom had a very restless soul. We moved like every 2 years, and everywhere we moved, there was a comic book shop. that I could go to and have somebody and some people who talked about the stuff I like to talk about. When the last economic crisis, when everything went to hell, I had Outright Geekery and my comic book shop when I got laid off. You know, that's how Outright Geekery got started. Me and some guys at my comic book shop just wanted a place where we could talk about comics. And now it's just been this huge thing that's led me to everything else that I do in my life. And
how many people have you met because of Outright Geekery?
The list is probably, I couldn't list it all. You know, I'd have to go back through all of my networks. But yeah, dude, I've met so many people, and all because of this passion. And it feels like it's a pivotal moment. You know, it feels like it's a call to action for the community, for the comic fan base, that we have to Free Comic Book Day needs to be like a huge like block party nationwide.
If it happens.
No, in the summer. They're talking about doing it in the summer.
I wonder about that.
Thing better not go that
books
long.
already ordered for that? Didn't retailers already order those books?
That's what I was sort of leading into. Yeah, that's another problem. You're going to be sitting on Empire books while Empire Preludes while Empire's dropping digitally. No,
we're not reading that anyway. It doesn't matter.
That.
What do you mean? It's just going to take a couple of people and everybody's gonna be like, I gotta have it digitally, right? They won't do that.
Yeah, we have to. I don't know, man. I don't want. It feels odd because the thing I want to get started is don't read comics, because I want people to not read comics while direct market is stopped. But people are going to go digital,
except for Jonathan Hedrick.
Some will.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Read Jonathan.
It's the perfect time for crowdfunding, man. It's the perfect time to be crowdfunding.
Yeah,
a perfect time for
so much good stuff on
crowdfunding.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have a product ready. You have to be ready. Yeah. Because
everybody's ready to go to YouTube and create a channel and build an audience. It's too late for that. You missed the boat. Grab an oar. You missed the boat.
If you have something, I mean, there's always something that you can't suck, but you have to have room for growth. You have to have something that somebody wants to see, or at least a presence. And it doesn't matter how late you start that regard, you know, because there's somebody that
if you don't have it, then
I would suggest that helps.
There's always something that just attracts people. Like I've seen YouTubers, there's just something about them that you just sat and watched.
That we're lacking that. What
you really can't put a finger on it.
Comic books.
There's just something about the personality. What are you talking about? YouTube or your comic books?
I'm talking about us.
Talking about us.
Oh, we're doomed.
He's talking in the third person. He's talking about us in the third. That might be the fourth person.
Let's get this show back on the rails. I'm trying to blend this doom and gloom of the comic book industry with promoting Jonathan's book and talking to Jonathan himself. So let's get back to Jonathan. Let's talk about.
Have we ever asked him what his favorite Rocky movie is?
We don't do that here on the Boogie Show.
Oh, come on, Boogie.
Why not?
What about influences?
Look, it's the Boogie Show now.
No, I hate that.
We can make it the Wrestling Council.
I hate that too on this show.
What about that? Is that better?
That's okay. It's okay. It's an original design.
What you can answer, Jonathan? What's your favorite Rocky movie?
4 is the Rocky movie.
Wow.
Of course.
He ended the Cold War.
Yeah, I mean,
we need Rocky right now more than ever.
If he can change and you can change,
anybody can change.
Anybody can change.
That might be the first time anybody's quoted the damn movie.
I'm pretty sure Ryland Grant probably.
Oh, he doesn't count. He doesn't count.
Yeah, you hate Ryland.
I love Ryland. That's why I dog him so much.
You can change. You got change for a 5?
Jonathan, have you seen the fake 30 for 30 on that?
Yes, I did.
My God!
Oh, we have a real Rocky fan.
It's so good. It's so good.
Hit in the feels. That I mean, whenever I see a Rocky marathon on, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do today.
Yup.
This is today for me.
Yep.
I've seen those movies so many times.
Nice.
I love them all. Even
awesome.
I can even stomach part 5 and 6 for the most part.
That's a true fan.
I liked 6, man.
Boogie always says that.
I get people. 6. It was good, dude. It was a perfect reboot. But I liked his Rambo reboot too.
yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Was it a reboot or just
not a reboot?
Not
It's
a
just
reboot, but yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
Soft reboot, like what Marvel does all the time.
I always say it. I understood the point of 5. I just don't think it was well executed. But
did you guys not buy into the tweet I retweeted, the boxing?
I was voting on that. I was voting on that.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. We should do something like that for something else that's not Rocky.
Yeah, let's have a March Madness bracket for Rocky fighters. I loved it.
It's so cool.
Jonathan, why comic books? Like, are you a lifelong comic book reader?
Oh yeah, I can't remember a time where I wasn't reading comic books. It all started for me at that old spinner rack at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, they well placed where kids can reach them and grab them, and it was always the things that I was familiar with, like Ninja Turtles or whatever was that cover looks cool.
Nice.
And then as I got older, the art and stuff wasn't as important as the story, and then I started learning. I knew I was a comic book fan when I started knowing like the creators' names. Like I looked for Chuck Dixon and all those 90s writers. That's where I grew up in comic books the most. So and there was so many events back then, not like the events nowadays, but the events kind of like meant something more. You had to you got the checklist and you were actually checking them off, and it was
actually buying them.
Digital was not an option. Those were the days. So yeah, I've always liked comic books, and I've been drawn to writing too. I always did well in that area in school, and with Freakshow Princess, that began as a short story that I tried out like 10 years ago, and I shopped around to some online magazines, like horror and sci-fi magazines, and really didn't get any bites from it, except for one publisher came back to me and said, well, we'd like to see more of your work, but that story, the ending we've been seeing a lot of, which I thought was kind of weird, because I was reading a lot of zombie stories at that time, like 10 years ago, when you had 28 Days Later, World War Z, and The Walking Dead was like it wasn't even a show yet. Yeah, there was just so much stuff going on. I was like, really, you've heard of that you've seen that ending before? And to this day, I've still not seen that ending anywhere else. But anyways, and then so I kind of dusted that off the the shelf, if you can say that, and reformatted it into a comic book script, and one thing led to another, and I was hiring an artist to start drawing the pages, and it was a domino effect, and now I got the bug for it. Now I have another title out, and I'm working on a third, and been asked to be in some anthology, so it's been kind of a fast and furious entry into the comic book indie world. Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very thankful for the people I've been able to network with. I couldn't have done it without the community that I've been surrounded by, and people like yourselves that offer these type of avenues to promote and discuss.
You got to think about it this way: if
we are pretty cool, thanks.
Yeah.
If there aren't any comic book stores, you are the industry.
Exactly.
Bam, man! I'm the industry. Who else is writing books for you right now?
Yeah, where else?
Unlike you, Joel. You don't mean anything, Joel.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Tough titty. Yeah. It happens.
So, Jonathan, this is the point where I ask what I consider a serious question, but probably everyone else is like, "Shut up, Adam."
Oh boy.
But the end. Shut up, Adam. The end of this book, because I've read the book. You allowed us to read it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
And I'm gonna be very vague here because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yule's trying to avoid spoilers.
I don't trust him.
I'm gonna be very vague. Is the ending of what we see in this book what will tie in future issues?
Yes. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, and that is perfect.
Yeah, Adam loves being right. Adam loves. He does.
That's all he cares about. I'm right.
No, that's why he's asked the question. He's like, I know I'm right.
Because I've been, before we got on with you here, I was thinking about the story, and I thought to myself, I wonder if that's what he's doing, because that's a perfect way to tie in various stories, but with a common thread.
So have you? I'm a big Stephen King fan. I read a lot of Stephen King.
He's the king of common threads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he had a movie back in the '80s called Cat's Eye. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And the cat played a theme through like the 4 vignettes.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to do something like that with like a comic book version of it.
Nice.
Without giving away too much, I guess. Yeah.
Now, I know you said Freakshow Princess is like a one-shot, but you're going to come back and do some more stuff with it, regardless. Yeah. What about the other book that you're doing, Capable? Or is that ongoing? You're going to come back with issue 2 and crowdfund? What's your plan there?
Yeah, Capable, that's my superhero book. Issue 2, the art is done on that one, waiting on the colors to be finished. So the plan was to have that one done by the end of April. We'll see with all this stuff going on in the world if that delays it.
And all the time they have to get it done.
That too. Every day I'm like, hey, you got nothing to do but color, buddy.
That's right.
But what is Capable
you gotta get
about?
So Capable is set in a world where all of a sudden people with handicaps now have a superpower that's opposite of what their disability is. What? So the main character, Derek Davidson, he was in a wheelchair. And he's the main character. So he wakes up one day and now he has super speed. So the first issue is kind of his origin story, but we end that issue with the idea of that he's going to start getting involved with other people around the world that have, all of a sudden gone from handicapped to superpowered. And not everyone's going to, do the right thing with those powers, as you imagine.
Sure.
So some people are going to probably have some pent up animosity towards the normal people for things that they've dealt with all their lives, and things that have caused them to make their life harder. It's like anyone who, or not anyone, but a lot of people who woke up one day with a superpower they could do something bad with it, right? Very easily. So I think that's really what I really wanted to do with this, is kind of explore that type of thought process. And
dude, I love this
premise.
idea. Yeah. Oh my gosh, how creative did you get with some of the disabilities you use? I know I have an autistic daughter. I couldn't imagine what the superpower version of that would be.
Right. So
it would have to be like telepathy or something,
right? It's really a creative idea where there's like a test bed where you can just do all kinds of things. Let's run through it, Gomer.
So like, what, blind would be X-ray vision,
right?
I could see.
Yeah. Adam's writing his own book now.
Oh, I was just saying, I could see someone with like cerebral palsy or something. Like,
man, I just got color blindness.
Wake up with like super freaking strength and just go ham on everything.
I get tired arm all the time.
So when is this out? Is issue 1 already out?
Yeah, issue 1's already been printed.
Back it, Gomer.
Well, I'm gonna go back it, definitely. I love everything about this.
Do it now, so we can get another backer.
Do it now. Back it now.
That's actually the level that I backed at, was to get. I wanted Capable #1 as well as Freakshow Princess. And
thank you.
What like how long do you plan to run with Capable? Because I'm into that too, and my daughter also. She is on this, that she wants to write a comic book, and it's very similar, is what's crazy. And she wants to be about superheroes that have special needs, and it's like
nice.
I notice here it says for mature readers. How mature is that?
Yeah, there's some very vulgar language in it.
Okay.
So, at the conventions I've been to, and people have walked up to my table and seen the book, and I intentionally picked the artist Gino Casmianto, because he's a very good artist, but it looks, I don't want to say juvenile in a way that he's not a good artist, but he draws it in a very high school theme version.
There's a certain type of animated TV shows that have that style, at least on the cover, that are adult oriented, and it runs the gamut. But yes, that works so well for me if the art is like that cover there.
Yeah,
I love that.
So I've warned parents, that I picked up the book and I have a, my son is in a wheelchair, or my daughter's autistic. I'm like, well, before you buy that and give that to them, there is some language, because I wasn't writing it to pander to the people with disabilities community, because I'm not one of those people. So this is a book with my version of, and what I see. From my point of view of it. And
wow, that's so respectful too. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
The language in there is also coming from a character that you would expect that language from. Nice. So it's not the two buddies that are just talking blah blah blah. There's a bully, and he is using that language to show the reader this is what some people with disabilities experience, especially in high school. When kids are probably the meanest. At least that's how it was when I was in high school.
They were when I was too.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite parts of Spider-Man coming up was how he was treated differently as Peter Parker. You know, this is that just with another layer added to it. And in modern day society, that layer is what we need. Geeks are now kings of the world, but now it's time for comics and literature of all kinds to take care of the people who need to be taken care of. And I love that idea. That's great.
Yeah, there's definitely some. I probably had Spider-Man in my subconscious when I was writing this book. And as far as how long, I have a 4-issue arc outlined. I finished the script for issue 3 earlier in the week. I was talking about anthologies that I got asked to be a part of. So I wrote a short story, about a 10-pager that takes place during the same time as the first issue, that explores what one of the side characters is doing during issue 1.
Nice. That's smart. That is smart. To get
more
eyes on it.
Exactly. So if I put it out, those 4 issues in a trade, that side story could be like, a bonus material too.
Very cool.
So that'd be awesome. I could see if there's someone with some kind of speech impediment or Tourette's.
Well, Adam's been thinking the whole time. Jonathan's been pushing.
He's like, I remembered that.
I was going to think of a superhero power and give it a disability reversal.
This is all
got some ideas for you.
Just don't read off too many ideas. So I don't want you to sue me later when I steal
right.
Yeah, come on, man.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, Adam's like, I don't know how to sue people.
Yeah, he's talking about
actually, this is how it really goes. It's like, well, you have to do all this stuff to sue someone. Like, I just don't know. It's too
He'd
much
be like,
work.
can't you just put my name in the back or something?
The Kickstarter campaign goes straight to lawyers.
Yeah.
Again, all the links for Freakshow Princess, all of that is down in the description below. Make sure you check it out. It's good stuff. I know you're a comic book fan. We're going to wrap this thing up here in just a couple of minutes, but I want to ask, what are you reading now? Like, what are you digging current?
This will be the last time we can ask this of anybody for some time.
Right now, on my pulls is pretty much anything from Scout. I love everything that they're doing. They have recently had a book came out. I think it's pronounced Canopus.
Oh
yeah, we just had him on just a couple weeks ago.
We've read all 4 issues. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's amazing.
Let's put ourselves over.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I read the first 2. I linked up with Dave on Twitter, and he let me read issue 2 before it came on print. So super nice guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. What else am I reading? Anything that Jeff Lemire does.
Well,
there's so much. I mean,
yeah, I know. He has a book every week.
He's found a new buddy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: everybody that talks about Jeff Lemire, though, have you read Frog Catchers?
No, I know. That's on my
so
list.
Great. It's so great.
I asked people that read Jeff Lemire, have you read that Animal Man run for New 52?
Yes.
That's what put me on him first.
Have you read his Underwater Welder? Because my gosh. My gosh.
I've heard good things about that too.
Yeah. Dude, he writes so much. He's the only guy.
Roughneck?
He's
that's
yeah.
Did you read
that's my story.
Essex County? Essex County's great.
He's got his own shared universe. I mean, shared comic book universe. Are you kidding me? I mean, the dude's incredible.
I love Black Hammer. Everybody knows that. But the other stuff I like his dark, depressing stuff. That's my favorite.
Well, we know.
Gideon Falls. Yeah, that's where. Another book I have
book on the shelf.
Another book I have to mention because Ryan Lee gave me a shout out, and I put that in the Kickstarter campaign is Mountainhead.
Oh my god!
Whoo!
Art in that book is so good. The way they incorporate panel layout and design into the
Ryan
art
kills it. Man.
Even the title page where he incorporates it. Oh, not since
it's the signs and stuff.
Yes, what's the Cullen Bun? But Harrow County does the same thing. Not since Harrow County have I seen such awesome work with a title page, dude. Jonathan.
Yes.
That's some great comics you're reading, man. Oh my gosh.
Are you have you checked out? I always bring this up to everybody, but the Kill Lock.
No.
God, that's his recent. That's his recent one.
Secretly writing that.
He went from Ice Cream Man to Kill Lock.
Exactly.
Read Ice Cream Man now.
He loves
that. Oh yeah, you should read Ice Cream Man. I was disappointed. I didn't get it.
I picked up Ice Cream Man. Yeah.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Electric Black, I love that book at Scout because it gives you that like modern Tales from the Crypt style. I'm a horror junkie, so
sure.
You know, ever since Walking Dead ended, you know, I'm trying to fill that gap.
Right. So. What a bummer there, that delay.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to him. You can tell he's a real fan. That sigh,
yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. My main pulls.
That's awesome.
Take a swig for the working man, Yule.
Do it, Yule. It's all he's got to do anymore.
Or the non-working man.
That's all he's got to do anymore is drink and read back issues.
Videos.
You gotta watch wrestling too. Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Thursday night right here on the S&B Network.
Dude, that should be your new show. You'll like drink and read back issues to call it the backwash.
Have you ever watched this fantastic comic show? That's all he does.
Dude, so my next one I'm going to be doing is Fish Police #1.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So if you don't know anything about it, it has a tie-in with Will and Grace.
Oh,
and I won't say anything more.
I was interested until you said that. No,
yeah.
Just tell your girlfriend or something.
My girlfriend.
I don't mean you.
I'm talking about on the side, Boogie.
So confused. I'm
talking about the royal you.
I thought you were going to say the Royal Rumble.
SO, your SO.
Also.
Your significant other.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Let's wrap this thing up. Everybody go back.
Adam's my significant other.
Oh wow. You guys make a great couple.
Freakshow Princess. We're talking.
Kickstarter, you got a few days left, 13 days left to go back it. Somebody else backed. We got you 3. I'm so happy.
Before any comic store will have a new comic book. Get this book.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I'm happy we picked up a few backers for you. Hopefully, we'll get some rewatches moving forward and get some more support for you. We'll be behind you. We'll be retweeting. If you do more campaigns going forward, we'll get you back on. We'll promote them. Hopefully, we can get you on ComicCast.
For Capable 2. Capable #2, I want.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to do a double campaign for that. Just have issues 1 and 2. So,
nice.
Yeah, I'd like to do that for sure.
Good stuff. Hopefully, we can get you on ComicCast when you do these Tuesday night shows. It's hard to get viewers because we're live every Sunday at 7. That's when everybody shows up.
We did okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Please, social media, Marvel and DC, and email them and tell them do not push digital comics on Comixology and anywhere else until the direct market gets comics. That's the only thing. I got a platform, Boogie. I've got to spit my. I got to preach.
I could preach
about it.
Level the playing field.
I second that one. That's fine.
Level the playing field. Come on. Why give Amazon more money?
We don't need comic shops, right, Gaumer? We don't need
them. I was talking about reality.
No,
I was
you weren't. No,
yes,
you sided with Mags Pistachio.
We
don't need comic shops. Let's shut them down. We don't need them.
I was saying that's the reality that we're at in that conversation, and I even said it on there. Boogie says I was taking a stance because I was spitting reality. You heard me on this show. That is my stance.
Pissed me off.
I'd say
my friend Yule.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I was upset because I was spitting.
Just because I agreed with hating on Mags about it doesn't mean I know what Gaumer was saying. You know, if I was in a conversation with somebody where their premise was just because there's a void of the big two and, big 3 and 4 and whatnot, doesn't mean that indies, and I think they were like specifically talking about things like you, Jonathan, doesn't mean that you're going to get a bigger piece of the pie. But, the thing is like, there is a potential for that right now. And if you don't pay attention to that, you're ignoring it. And I mean, who cares what my my perspective is on it?
I care.
As far as a store, I'm just saying you got to do what you got to do. And this is the time. The iron is hot. Strike. And that's what I would do.
When you talk about people, we talked about the comic shops and how we have a connection and they feel like friends. And then when I know Yule's sitting at the house and can't sell comics, I take that crap personally. So when Max Fasagio goes on Twitter and basically says, we don't need comic shops, records survive without record stores, we'll just survive without comic store owners. Well, screw you, Max Fasagio.
I wasn't agreeing with her when you posted that in our private message. I said, she's right. And that's the problem. She's right, dude.
Right.
Yeah. She's right. She's agreeing doesn't timing. Shut your mouth.
You're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you. Sometimes but the only thing I was saying in that chat was that's the problem. That's what we as a fan base need to work on making sure doesn't happen. I was just saying that's the reality we're in. That's the reality.
Responding to that chat because I was talking to Yule at the same time and I was so pissed off.
Yeah,
I'm not responding.
I didn't mean for you to take it like I supported what she said. I support what she says in the fact that it's a fact. That we are,
but it's like I told you too. If she had said that 6 months ago, I would have agreed with her.
Sure. But now comic shops look to be on death's door, and we need to come together and fix it.
Jonathan's like, "What did I get into?" But guess what? You got into. We just got another backer. We're up to $1,030.
We should just keep staying on. Jonathan's just going to keep making money.
Let's do it.
I don't know. The live chat's disappearing. These guys are yelling at each other.
I need to share the show and say we're in overtime and it's off the rails.
Oh man,
Boogie ain't got no codes.
I want to thank you guys for coming on, making Adam and Gaumer put in overtime. You're always welcome here.
Thank you.
I wanted your opinion.
We are essential.
You're going to replace Jason soon enough. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. You may just be the new host.
There's no replacing Jason.
Yeah. He's such a jerk, man. It's like, who could be that big of a jerk? No, but in all seriousness, it's been fun. I appreciate you guys coming on, hanging out with me. It's the Boogie Show, plus I can't do the show by myself. I got to come up with a better name. But Jonathan, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us.
Boogie and Jonathan with the Three Stooges.
I like the Boogie Show because you can just rotate people out. It's always going to be you, Boogie, but your guests revolve.
Antonio,
it's okay to have some
you got to stream by yourself. I don't want to stream by myself. I like hanging out
in the bathroom.
It's tough, man. I haven't done it yet myself, but that's like one of the next things I have to do is just be out there by myself for a second.
Who would I interrupt if I'm streaming by myself?
Exactly. I lose my concentration anyway.
Don't want to be all by myself.
That's a great place to rap.
Yeah,
Adam singing.
That's it. We're done.
Ballads.
Come hang out with ComicCast Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be hanging out with the writer of Canto. The volume 1 trade of that comes out this week. Pick that up. Check it out. It's gonna be a good.
Yule.
Sorry, Yule.
You can't help but laugh, man.
I wanted to read it.
I'm sorry, Yule. Maybe it'll be on Amazon for you guys.
Oh man! Wow. Just twist the dagger, you son of a.
That's it. We're out of here. Join us for the Wrestling Council on Thursday, where we make fun of WWE. For all these guys, I'm Boogie Bentley. We're out.